My name is Eva Hoffman, and I am currently a visiting professor at the European Institute of University College in London. Welcome to my exp. The question which arises from the study of the Nazi genocide and the genocides which have come after is whether we have learned anything from them. The second generation is again in a temporal position which allows it not only to delve into the historical context and the historical causes of the Holocaust, but also to know what has happened in the 70 years since then. And unfortunately, as we know, the motto "never again" has not been realized. We have seen a number of genocides and other forms of gratuitous violence, like the apartheid in South Africa. I do think that perhaps one thing we have gained from these terrible and dark experiences is that we have learned how to deal with the aftermath of genocides better than we did before. And for me, the great example of this is the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in South Africa. The aim of the TRC, of this commission, was not to deliver legal justice, which in any case might have been on that scale impossible, and who knows, might have led to another cycle of vengeance. But the aim was rather to allow the victim to confront the perpetrator and to ask him, it was almost always him, to acknowledge what he has done. I was particularly moved by reading the testimony of a man who was blinded during apartheid and who confronted his perpetrator in the course of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And in this confrontation, he kept asking, "Did you do this to me? Did you do this to me? Did you say these terrible words to me? Did you want to annihilate me and my identity?" And the perpetrator eventually, after some resistance, said, "Yes, I did. I said those words. I did that." And the man who was the victim then said, "I want to thank the commission because until now I was blind, but now I can see." In the places where genocides have taken place, and particularly where the perpetrators and the victims have to live side by side in the same society, as they do in Rwanda, as they do in South Africa, it is important to preserve and pass on this knowledge also in its historical factuality, if only to prevent the cycles of vengeance and retribution in subsequent generations. But as for preventing genocides, I think our best hope of doing that is to strengthen liberal democracies. such democracies have been weakened in the last decades, and they have bred extremist movements, and they have bred terrorism. How can we actually strengthen democracies? I do think that mutual recognition of each other in our diverse societies is very important, and that in some societies, I'm best acquainted with the United Kingdom at this point, there is a danger of living in separate enclaves, a danger of a kind of voluntary ghettoization in which we do not know each other. So I think dialogue across these cultural lines, and real dialogue in which we treat each other as equals, in which, we do not condemn a person who is in a position of putative power just because they're in that position, and in which we don't condescend to a person who is in a position of lesser power, but respect their agency and their responsibility. So we need authentic and difficult dialogue. But we need also to develop the sense of common responsibility, to develop solidarity. I think solidarity is a very important concept, and it was really the great triumph of Poland before it took its new path, that it created the movement of solidarity, and that it created such a widespread sense of solidarity in the entire society.